Today's episode is sponsored by the ARM Institute, the nation's leading robotics and AI manufacturing innovation institute. Visit them at arminstitute.org.
Aerospace and defense manufacturing.
Machines and automation.
Additive manufacturing.
Smart manufacturing.
The global manufacturing economy.
Welcome to Advanced Manufacturing Now, the podcast for manufacturing professionals, powered by SME. From the design screen to the shop floor to final assembly, we drive the conversation about making manufacturing smarter by connecting people who are passionate about manufacturing.
Hello and welcome to Advanced Manufacturing Now, the podcast for manufacturing professionals. I'm Amy Bryson, contributing lead editor of Smart Manufacturing magazine. Today we'll be talking about a big topic. It's how robotics is impacting smart manufacturing. And I'm lucky to have with me today to discuss this, Livia Rice. Now, Livia is Director of Outreach and Engagement at the ARM Institute, and ARM stands for Advanced Robotics for Manufacturing. And having joined the ARM Institute just a few months after its inception in 2017, Livia has been integral in growing the ARM Institute, building the organization's brand, and establishing processes. She's also worked to broaden awareness of the ARM Institute's products and services, and we certainly look forward to learning more about those today. So I want to thank you for joining us, Livia, and welcome to the show.
Thanks, Amy. I'm thrilled to be here.
Wonderful. So before we jump into our discussion, I know I gave a brief overview, but can you give our listeners a more background about you and what exactly the ARM Institute is and what it does?
Absolutely. So like you said, Amy, I'm the Director of Outreach and Engagement at the ARM Institute. So I have the absolute pleasure of working across all the programs and initiatives at the ARM Institute, helping to bring awareness to what we're doing for manufacturers and what we're doing to strengthen robotics and artificial intelligence for manufacturing. I work on all of our marketing, communications, events, digital communication activities, and it's been great to see how the organization has grown because we're doing so much more than we were when we started. So, like you said, the ARM Institute is a manufacturing innovation institute funded by the Department of Defense and part of the Manufacturing USA Network. As I'm sure many of your listeners already know, there are several Manufacturing USA institutes spread across the country, and each is focused on strengthening U.S. manufacturing through a specific focus area. At the ARM Institute, we're really focused on advancements in robotics, artificial intelligence, and workforce development.
Wow, those are three big rocks, right?
Just a little bit.
You're not busy at all.
Not at all. And with 400 plus member organizations working with us on these areas, we've got a ton of contributors. So the ARM Institute doesn't do this in a vacuum. We're working with organizations that span from community colleges and workforce development programs to robotic suppliers, manufacturers of all sizes, and all sorts of organizations to strengthen our mission and help to address critical areas of need in U.S. manufacturing.
That's great. Thank you for that. And I understand that the ARM Institute has an exciting initiative to help specifically small and medium-sized manufacturers as it relates to de-risking robotics at no cost. I mean, that's huge. Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. This is a really exciting program that we have. This program is called the Robotics Manufacturing Hub, and it's funded through the Pittsburgh Region's Build Back Better Regional Challenge Award. Through this program, we work with small and medium-sized manufacturers in the Pittsburgh region to provide free services to help manufacturers evaluate their operations, test robotic solutions, prototype potential solutions, and enhance their global competitiveness using robotics. We'll work with them to help them understand if robotics is a fit for them or not, all at no cost. So we're not selling any services to them. We are not selling them equipment. Rather, we're providing these free services that objectively help them understand where robotics can or may not be able to play a role, basically acting as an extension of their R&D team. In one such case, we worked with a third-generation family-owned and operated manufacturer that performs flame and induction hardening of steel parts to automate their packaging process. Prior to these services that we provided to them, their workers were manually lifting parts that were 30 pounds or heavier, dipping them in oil, and packaging them.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, no one wants to be doing that. That's the perfect thing for a robot to take on. It's dull, dirty, and dangerous.
Yeah.
So our team worked with the manufacturer to customize a robotic solution to lift the part, dip it in oil, and package it. We did this all completely for free without requiring the manufacturer to purchase a system. After a successful demonstration at our lab, we gave the manufacturer everything that they needed to purchase and install the system, which they're currently working on doing. So within weeks, our team worked with this manufacturer to go from initial concept to full execution. They went from not knowing if this was even possible to a real proof of concept and a plan, and they're now able to use a robot that was underutilized in their facility to do this exact task and help out their employees.
That's amazing. And I imagine, this is a perfect use case for so many shops across the country where they've been doing these tasks that are dangerous, as you mentioned, dull, dirty, all of the things, right? And I'm wondering if when you work to engage with a small shop like that, what are their trepidations about robotics? And once they have that light bulb moment, I'm sure all the dots are connected, but what gives them pause to explore robotics?
A lot of times it's the huge initial upfront capital investment. They're worried about buying a robot that's not going to be used to its fullest capability. It's not going to be able to enhance their competitiveness. They're going to waste time. They're worried about getting their workforce ready to work with the robot as well. They want them to be able to work and get hands-on with it before installing it. And we help them do all of that because we also give them access to equipment in our lab in Pittsburgh and help their workers actually get hands-on, familiar with the system, ask questions, and feel really confident that the solution that we're providing is one that's actually going to impact their business.
That's great. And so it's a nice segue point. So we talk a lot about how Industry 4.0 is really ushering in this new age of manufacturing with certainly robotics, automation, and you mentioned AI. And many talk about how, there will be high demand for new skill sets or adaptive skills, things like complex problem solving. So from your position, how is the ARM Institute helping to prepare the U.S. manufacturing workforce to work with things like robotics and connect a next generation of workforce to what we're seeing as really valuable, not just jobs, but careers in manufacturing?
Yeah, you're completely right, Amy, because right now we're facing as a nation both a historic skills gap and what we're calling an awareness gap. These jobs exist, they're out there, they're high paying, they're interactive, they're engaging, they're valuable, and a lot of people don't know about them. They don't realize that manufacturing is using advanced technologies like robotics and artificial intelligence. So what the ARM Institute did is we created a national capability called roboticscareer.org. And on that site, it's like a one-stop shop for anyone who's interested in a robotics career in manufacturing. They can go there and they can explore over 16,000 training programs. They can be personally matched to one that aligns with their goal. They can find training programs that have been evaluated by our industry partners and are proven to give students and workers the skills they need to take on these jobs through our endorsement program. And they can also apply for jobs right on the site. They can do a personalized job search, and we have job listings that are updated twice a week. Since we launched roboticscareer.org, more than 1,500 individuals have created an account on the site. Not only are we connecting workers and students with these resources, but we're also connecting hiring manufacturers and organizations who can search through our talent database and find individuals who have the skills that they need in their organizations and are actively looking for jobs.
That's so amazing, and that very powerful use cases. And I know you guys are, you said, based in Pittsburgh, and we had the Smart Manufacturing Experience in Pittsburgh earlier this year, and people's eyes light up when they see robotics and technology in use and in practice, right? And it is attracting, hopefully, the next generation of manufacturing workforce, because these, as I said, and as you explained, these jobs and careers are unlike, the jobs and careers of, a few decades ago. It really is a dynamic space to consider career opportunities. So being able to connect people directly, I think, is a wonderful use of resources and, getting the word out, because I think a lot of people just don't know that something like that exists. So let's talk a little bit about AI. So, we also try to talk about AI and making it practical and making it tangible. And it's certainly going to be a conversation for the foreseeable future. So how, well, let me say, what is the ARM Institute doing to make AI more accessible, more tangible for robotics and manufacturing?
Yeah, it's a great point. And I love that you pointed out that it needs to be tangible for manufacturers. It can't be theoretical. It has to actually impact and strengthen their businesses. So just like SME, the ARM Institute has been working on artificial intelligence for a very long time. It's just making headlines now in a lot of cases, like we're seeing the news organizations talking about it. But for the past 7 years, the ARM Institute has really been living in the artificial intelligence world. We realized that many of the technology robotics projects that we've done, without us even requiring them to have an AI component, we're incorporating artificial intelligence into their programs and their projects. And that gave us a lot of learnings. We realized that there wasn't quite enough data to make artificial intelligence in robotics tangible enough for manufacturing. So we're building on what we've learned through those projects and through our experience over the past 7 years in 3 key areas. The first is that we're working with our members on a program that's currently taking place under the working title AI Data Foundry that will make manufacturing data sets and software tools to leverage AI for robotics more accessible to our members. The second is that we're working with our partners at our Pittsburgh headquarters, CMU's Manufacturing Futures Institute and Catalyst Connection, to build out learning capabilities in our building and actually bring in manufacturers and help them understand how they can use robotics and artificial intelligence. And finally, we just started a process to work with our members to define the skills needed to work with AI for robotics.
Wow.
A huge area of need because people are very interested in these roles, but you don't know where to start if you don't know the skills that are required. So we started this process at our annual meeting a few weeks ago in September, and we're going to host a series of workshops following this to further define these skills. Then we'll use these findings to either incorporate these skills into the existing robotics competency frameworks that we developed and have available on roboticscareer.org, or build a new AI-specific one if we believe that's going to be necessary to help people understand the skills that are needed.
Oh, that practical guidance is so... There's such a gap in that, especially for small and mid-sized manufacturers. So that's great work that you're doing. I imagine you get a lot of questions about how, from your perspective, is AI something to fear? Is robotics going to replace the human function in shops? Like, how do you explain the current landscape and what the future looks like in terms of, a job creation, job evolution, job replacement?
Yeah, and we saw these headlines many years ago, right, with robotics, that robotics was going to take jobs, it was going to eliminate roles. But what we've seen is that robotics can take on the dull, dirty, and dangerous tasks, which free up humans to take on the creative roles. They can work with operating the robots, repairing the robots, programming the robots, planning robotics integrations. They're no longer, for example, lifting heavy parts or doing something that's ergonomically unfriendly. I think we're going to see the same thing with artificial intelligence. It will help give us data to make better business decisions and better manufacturing decisions and free up, again, workers to work on things that are more valuable. And I think it ultimately, in the long run, I think that artificial intelligence will create new and exciting career opportunities the same way that we've seen with robotics roles. Those roles in manufacturing didn't necessarily go away, but they changed. And that's kind of what we've seen across industries is that roles can change, and people who have those initial skills, they're perfectly positioned to take on new roles in manufacturing.
Yeah, absolutely. So what else is going on at the ARM Institute? Any things on the horizon, any programs, any events that our listeners should be looking forward to?
Absolutely. So we are looking to work with more manufacturers in the southwestern Pennsylvania region through a robotics manufacturing hub program. So if there are manufacturers who are listening and they want to get started with robotics, they have absolutely no idea how to, or they think they have a clue how to, but they're not sure how to go about it, they can go ahead and apply for that program right on our website. We also have an open education and workforce development project call that is centered on helping training programs receive ARM endorsement and apply for ARM endorsement at no cost. So that's available on our website currently. We'll be releasing a project call publicly. It's currently only available to our members in support of our AI Data Foundry program and AI software tools in the near future, as well as one of our traditional tech project calls later this fall. So if you're interested in project calls, now is a great time to join because we have a lot of energy around those and funding opportunities. And I would be totally remiss if I didn't mention this, but it's never too early to start talking about 2025, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a crazy world we live in, but that's what we're looking at. We just hosted our 2024 annual member meeting and convened our membership in Pittsburgh for 3 days of networking, knowledge sharing, and collaboration. We had record attendance at this year's members-only event. Our 2025 annual member meeting will take place September 3rd through 5th in Pittsburgh, PA. It's open only to our members, but if that sounds like something where you want to get in the room with all these organizations who are ARM Institute members and learn about the programs and initiatives that we're working on to strengthen U.S. manufacturing, it's a great event to go to, and it would be great, to apply for membership before we have that event so that organizations can attend.
Wow, that's a lot of great stuff. So if people want to take you up on these offers, Livia, and learn more about the work you and your team are doing, where should they go?
They should visit our website at arminstitute.org.
Wonderful. Well, Livia Rice, I want to thank you so much for taking time and joining us today to share your valuable insights with our listeners. And I also want to thank our listeners for tuning in. Make sure that you stay up to date about what's happening at Advanced and Smart Manufacturing and hear more podcasts by visiting us at advancedmanufacturing.org. Take care, everybody.